All right, so continue from the last video. So with the rule, a sub n is equal to this formula or this equation. Okay, so I just want to explain to you what we're having n minus 1 in here. So n minus 1 is basically the interval. Okay, and let me explain to you what that means. So the amount of intervals is if you use the last person, which is 5, to subtract the first person, okay, subtract 1, that's going to be 4. So which means that you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're going to have 4 intervals. So if you're just going to talk about that, there's going to be 5 people standing equal distance from each other, one person to another, there's going to be 4 equal spaces. Okay, so 4 equal spaces in between them. That's why we're using n minus 1 in this rule. Okay, so in here from the textbook, I'm gonna go over number 16 and number 18. So what we're gonna do is how we're gonna write the rule, and we're gonna find a sub 20. Okay, let's get started. So number 16. So what is the rule here? Okay, let's find out what the difference. So it's -7, -7, and -7. So the common difference is -7. And then we don't need to find A1 because it's right there, right? Okay, let's write the rule. So A sub 20, sorry, A sub n is equal to A sub 1 plus, keep it as n minus 1, multiplied by -7, okay? Distribute the -7. So you got A sub n equals to, okay, so continue from the last video. I just want to explain to you why there is a minus 1 there. Okay, so n minus 1. All right, so continue from the last video. I just want to explain to you guys why there is n minus 1. Okay, so n minus 1 is basically an interval. Okay, you guys know what intervals are, right? So the intervals are basically, let's just say there is going to be 5 people right here, from the first person to the fifth person. How many spaces or how many intervals are in between 5 people? Okay, so you can just count. So there's 1, there's 2, 3, and 4. How do you get that? So basically you use the last person to subtract the first person. So 5 minus 1, then you get that interval, which is 4. Okay, so when we talk about intervals, we don't necessarily use n minus 1. Okay, we just basically want to use the last person to subtract the first person. Okay, so let's get started with some questions here. So from textbook, I'm going to go over number 16 and number 18. What we're going to do is that we're going to write the rule and we're going to find a sub 20. First of all, every time we see these type of problems, you know that the first term is your a sub 1. Okay, the next thing you want to do is find a common difference. So here is -7, -7, -7. So your common difference is -7. So let's write the rule. So the rule is going to be a sub n equals to a sub 1, 86, plus n minus 1, keep it as n minus 1, multiplied by the difference, -7. Okay, distribute the -7, and then we're going to combine like terms later. Okay, so a sub n equals to 86 minus 7n plus 7. Okay, combine like terms now. That's going to be 93 minus 7n. Okay, so next thing we want to do is we're going to look for the oops, where's a different color? Okay, so a sub 20 is what we're looking for. So we just apply this rule right here. So 93 to subtract 7. Now we're talking about 20th term. So you're going to plug in 20 into n. So that will be 93 subtracting 140. So that will be negative 47. Okay. All right, so number 18. So let's look for the common difference. So common difference looks like it's all fractions, kind of tedious. So what I'm going to show you guys is that you can just use any two consecutive terms and then use the following term, which is 1/4, to subtract the previous term, which is negative 1/2. Okay, you guys can do the math. So this is going to be 3/4. Okay, 3/4. I'm going to use 0.75 for some parts. So now let's write the rule. Okay, so the rule is that we know that a sub 1 is right here. So when I write the rule, I write a sub n equals to the first term, negative 2 plus n minus 1, and multiply by 3/4. Okay, so I'm going to distribute the 3/4. Okay, so a sub n equals to negative 2. So I just told you that in some parts, I'm going to use 3/4 n in here. But when I distribute the 3/4 to negative 1, I'm actually going to put negative 0.75 because it's just easier for me to combine like terms. So a sub n equals to negative 2.75 plus 3/4 n. So now next thing I want to do is use this rule to help me to find a sub 20. Okay, so a sub 20 is going to be negative 2.75 plus 3/4 times 20. Okay, so you can go ahead and do the math. Negative 2.75. Okay, it's going to be 5 times 3, that's positive 15. So your a sub 20, or your 20th term, is going to be 12.25. Okay, so I do want to go over chapter 8.1. Okay, so problems I'm going to go over are 18, 21, 24, and let's go one more, 26. Okay, so what is the common difference? Positive 7.8, positive 7.8. Okay, same thing over here. So that's going to be your A1. Okay, so you got all the information over there, so just go ahead and write the rules. So a sub n equals to, the first term is 9, plus, keep it as n minus 1 as usual, and then multiply by 7.8. Okay, now you're going to distribute 7.8. All right, so what is a sub n? What is the rule? So 9 plus, so 7.8 times n, that's 7.8n. And then you're going to do subtract 7.8. So 9 subtract 7.8. Your rule is going to be 1.2 plus 7.8n. Okay? All right, so what about this one? We hate fractions. So you're going to add 1/4 to get to the next term. So that means your common difference is 1/4. You got your 1/4 as your A1. So when I write the rule, you go an equals to 1/4 plus n minus 1 and multiply the difference 1/4. So go ahead and distribute the 1/4 here. So a sub n equals to 1/4 plus 1/4 times n, 1/4 n, 1/4 times negative 1, that's minus 1/4. You're able to canceling out the positive 1/4 and negative 1/4. So your rule is going to be a sub n equals to 1/4 n. Okay, so the next one is that you kind of have to find the rule. Okay, but you have to graph the first 6 terms of the sequence and don't even worry about this. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys number 24, 26, and 28, all even numbers. Okay, yeah, this is a video, so if you don't like it, just skip it. Okay, you don't have to see all the examples. So what you're going to do here is that you're going to have to find out with the information they gave you, you're going to have to find what is your a sub 1. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys how to do this. So you got a common difference right here, and you got the last term, which is a sub 13. So write this out. So you write a sub 13 is equal to a sub 1. Now, that's the one we're looking for, plus n minus 1. N is 13 here. Okay, so you don't have to write n minus 1. So we're going to write 13 minus 1. Multiply the difference is 4. Okay, so we know that I'm going to say space. So you know that n sub a sub 13 is 42. So I'm going to write 42. Okay, and we know that 13 minus 1 is 12. So 12 times 4. Okay, let's write that out. So 12 times 4, that's 48. Okay, so now you can just go ahead and subtract 48 on both sides. You know that your a sub 1 is equal to negative 6. Let's use a different color. Now, what's the rule? So use a sub n equals to, now I got my a sub 1, so it's negative 6 plus, keep it as n minus 1, because when we try to find the nth term, that's the rule, okay? So multiply by 4. Now we're going to be distributing the 4 to a minus 1. I'm like, I've been doing this, right? So a sub n equals to negative 6 plus 4n minus 4. So your rule is going to be, combined like terms, negative 10 plus 4n. Next one, that's our priority, is to find the a sub 1. Okay, find a sub 1. That's not 9, 1. That's a sub 1. Okay, so you're going to use a sub 15 equals to a sub 1 plus, now we're talking about that n is 15, so just write 15 minus 1, multiply the difference, which is negative 3. Okay, so we know that a sub 15 is right here, it's negative 35. Okay, a sub 1 is what we're looking for. We're just going to have to do all the other calculation. So plus, we know that 15 minus 1 is 14. Right here, 14 times negative 3, that's going to be negative 42. Okay, it's a different color. So isolate a sub 1. So you're going to have to plus 42 on both sides. All right. So a sub 1, hell yeah, 7. All right, so rule, a sub n equals to, we already found that a sub 1 is 7, so 7 plus, keep it as n minus 1, and we're going to be distributing the negative 3, okay? I know you guys don't want me to use the yellow over here. All right, so a sub n equals to 7 minus 3n plus 3, and then just combine the like terms, so it's 10 minus 3n. If I'm going too fast, you just pause it. I just found out there is a function on the on YouTube. You can actually slow down my audio. Okay, so let's go ahead and do number 28. So let's find out what a sub 1 is. Oh, my writing is neat here. All right, so you're going to use a sub 21 equals to a sub 1 um, you're gonna plus the m minus 1, multiply the difference. Okay, so m minus 1, and here is actually 21, so 21 minus 1, multiply the difference is negative 3 halves. All right, so let's go ahead and write a sub 21 is negative 25 equals to a sub 1 plus, this is 20 right here, 20 times negative 3 halves, that's going to be negative 30, okay? So isolate a sub 1, so we'll just add 30 on both sides. So a sub 1 equals to 5 right here, okay? Let's find a rule. So a sub n equals to a sub 1, 5 plus, keep it as n minus 1, use the same number for the same fraction for the difference, you get 3 halves. So a sub n is 5 minus 3 halves n plus 3 halves. And then you know that 3 halves, you can actually write that as 1.5. It's just easier for us to add, okay? All right, so combine the 5 and 1.5, that's 6.5 minus 3 halves n. All right, so these are just from chapter 8.1.